Okay, so there will be a link in this video, or you can email me, reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com, to this whole video transcript. This is from the Michael Allman criminal case. It is 3/26/21, and we are at 55 minutes in. And Michael Allman's attorney, Nat Jacobs, has just asked regarding Michael Allman, the owner of Moses, the wolf hybrid dog, if the court will allow him to get a vet. So Michael wants to get a vet for his own peace of mind and also to prove there's nothing wrong with Moses. And the other side, Miss Saint Marie, I believe this is with the prosecuting office, Jefferson County, Port Townsend, seems to be saying that, well, there's no relevance. There's no reason to go ahead and get a new vet. I mean, Moses has already been fixed, right? So this is March, and they took Moses in November, so it's 5 months. So there's nothing wrong with Moses. So they're like, oh, well, he's already fixed up now, so there's no reason to get a vet. Well, then why does CVAR, Center Valley Animal Rescue, still have Michael's dog? Why is he not allowed to see his dog? Why is Michael Allman not allowed to get medical treatment for his dog or send a vet to CVAR? Is Center Valley Animal Rescue, which we call CVAR, is that where Jefferson County, Washington keeps their evidence? Moses is evidence in a criminal case in Jefferson County, Port Townsend, Washington. He is at an animal rescue place because that's where they took him. And they premeditated to have it there, which you'll see through the rest of, well, let's not get into that on this video. So this woman, like all of them I've witnessed before, is standing up for CVAR because, you know, they're a nonprofit. They've been here forever, so everybody knows everybody. So it's all these people against this one man. His dog, he bought, he raised, he's had puppies. It's his best friend, his family, his personal private property. And they will not let him see it. They won't let him get a vet. And this woman here, Michael's attorneys just asked about getting a vet. And so she's also saying, she's stating case law, but not, she's like, well, in Superior Court, there was a case and they said, well, it's not really relevant, but well, then why say it? She's like, and it really didn't matter that they got a new vet. What? We're 5 months in and the owner can't send out a vet? And fast forward to the end of this, the trial, the very last statement by prosecuting attorney Kennedy, that Moses still had a skin problem even after all this time, right? November to August. And that Moses was overweight. So this guy cannot worry about his dog and send a vet? Oh no, that wouldn't be, you know, anyway. So I'll let you listen to this part and then we'll back up and explore some more of it. We're going to explore all of these. This one is, it's 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 44 seconds, just to identify it. And the date of it is March 26, 2021. And again, we're 55 minutes in. Okay, here we go.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jacob, how much time were you asking for?
Well, at least until the trial date. I mean, who knows with COVID if we're going to go to trial on the scheduled trial date. I expect to, you know, the one thing that I need to do in this case still remains is an independent investigation by a vet.
He wants an independent investigation by a vet.
Process of now that we know that the dog is at CVAR, which took a long time to figure out.
Now that they know that Moses, Michael's dog, is at CVAR, which they hid from him. The Humane Society hid it, Officer Wendy Davis, the city of Port Townsend, and all the alleged co-conspirators. They all hid from the owner of the dog where he was at. Now, emotional support dogs aren't necessarily a thing in Washington. It should be. It definitely was life or death for Michael, mental, emotional, and it was in the winter, and it was also during the pandemic. I mean, there was a lot going on, but commercial value alone, that was his property. He paid $700 for. That beautiful wolf hybrid can have at least one batch of puppies a month, if not way more. At $700 a puppy minimum. Some of them go for $2,000. The ones that Michael had sold before were $700 each, and Moses had 7 puppies. They took away everything, and Michael never refers to Moses as commercial property, but these are the commercial property, the liens the laws they took Moses on was as if he was a vehicle or if he was a house or anything else they put a lien on and then auction off to the highest bidder. So stay tuned to the details of all of this and yeah, don't let it happen to you, right? Okay, here we go.
Process of finding somebody to do independent evaluation.
They want someone to do an independent evaluation.
Volunteers.
And with...
So anyway, I do want to respond briefly to something that council said, and that is that, you know, I mean, I'm put off by the fact that council seems to be representing CVAR, and yet trying to say that the city shouldn't be responsible for the care of the evidence.
Now, every hearing that I went to, they said the same thing. Why is the prosecuting's office, Melissa Plyman did it at the hearing, the evidentiary hearing that I testified in. Why are they all sticking up for CVAR as if they're representing them in court? Okay? The Jefferson County Prosecuting's Office stuck up for CVAR over Michael's rights all the time. I get they've been in the county forever, right? They're an established nonprofit. So, but Michael's attorney, Nat Jacobs, kept calling them out and saying, you don't represent CVAR, right? Like, why do you keep defending them? Okay.
The animal is not, it's not a person, so it doesn't have rights. So this notion that, you know, it should, you know, it's in the best interest of the dog or whatever, that's even more attenuated than the notion that Ms. St. Marie is representing the best interest of CVAR and their finances and what have you. I mean, I would ask Your Honor to disregard any statements that were made on behalf of CVAR by Ms. St. Marie. Now, if Ms. St. Marie is speaking on behalf of the city to say that the city doesn't want to incur further expenses for the care of the dog, there's a really simple solution here, and I think...
Right, so it sounds like Ms. St. Marie is the city attorney of Port Townsend. So the city was sticking up for CVAR, and then so was the county at the hearings that I was at.
Your Honor knows what it is. Return the animal to its owner. As to this argument that the city is making about how the owner can't properly care for the dog, Your Honor made a finding. Perhaps Ms. St. Marie doesn't know this, but you made that finding and you extended that opportunity to Mr. Allman. And I understand, I get the fact that Your Honor doesn't want to circumvent a lien. I don't know that it's actually been recorded anywhere because I checked the county and it hasn't been recorded.
And so the hearing that I was at 2 weeks before this, the judge didn't know, like, she's like, I don't even know if the lien's been recorded. And who is CVAR? And, you know, that's all at the evidentiary hearing, which I haven't seen on these CDs yet, but that's where I testified. And so, yeah.
Reported here, so, and it certainly hasn't, there's no judgment on the lien. But again, the lien is the lien, and that's its own.
Right, that's what I was saying. I kind of forgot what I was saying. They put a lien on Michael's property. So the city of Port Townsend decided that the evidence in a criminal case should be held by a third party, a nonprofit animal rescue. Okay, he didn't need emergency care, wasn't in an emergency state, teeth, skin condition, which apparently he still had in the end. It was just their hatred for Michael and wanting that dog and wanting to prove a point and wanting to be righteous. They stole his dog, in my opinion, and they kept his dog at CVAR hostage. And they didn't really have a legal right. And here in this one, we see the city of Port Townsend defending CVAR. Now, does the city of Port Townsend have a contract with Center Valley Animal Rescue that's where they take animals that, or anything else that's criminal evidence? Why did they get to hold his criminal evidence? And not only did they hold this evidence for the city of Port Townsend and for the county attorney, okay, of which at my hearing, Melissa Plyman said it wasn't evidence, and the judge said, yes, it is. And you'll see another, I'll show you another video where they talk about the fact that Moses is evidence. So they premeditated at CVAR, you see in the threads that we've showed before. Okay, the authorities involved in this had evidence in a criminal trial that CVAR held. So this was against the owner's will, taken by authorities. And then this animal rescue place charges Michael $25,000 to get his dog as a lien. He don't even get his dog back. He has a $25,000 lien declared by Judge Harper, CVAR 1. He don't get the dog, and he has a $25,000 lien. See how this works, folks? All right, so let's see what I believe it's the city attorney now. He keeps calling her Miss St. Marie. Sorry. What is he calling her? Miss St. Marie or something like that. I think, sorry, I wasn't familiar with this one, so.
Separate thing, and Mr. Allman understands that as of right now, that appears to be a legal lien, and until we can actually prove otherwise, I can't really make an argument about that here. But
when was the Center Valley Animal Rescue lien actually filed with the courts? We now know that there's something fishy going on. They hurry up, they get the lien, they get the declaratory judgment, they auction off the dog to the highest bidder while they've set Michael up to have a guilty charge for a few months until they change the paperwork and appeal by some accident. And we'll talk about that later. All to protect Center Valley Animal Rescue and this lynch mob of hundreds of people against this one man. You'd never believe it. I visited with Michael the other day, and I said I'd never believed it, and he admitted he'd never believed it. You got all these government agencies, you got an officer of the law, you got the city, you got all of these prominent people and all these other people and an established nonprofit. You got all these people. They're all lying, and this guy's telling the truth? I don't think so, but that's exactly what happened. All right, let's see what she has to say.
This notion that he can't somehow take care of the dog, that's the city trying to have its cake and eat it too. On one hand, they're saying that he can't take care of the dog ever, apparently, because even though he's clearly cured that, and Your Honor is found by a preponderance under the statute that he has, I guess that means that he'll never be able to get the dog back, which she said in no uncertain terms is her goal. But then there's this notion that, CVAR is going to be put out by holding on to the dog for longer, or the city is.
So the city does not want Michael to have it back. And Center Valley Animal Rescue is going to be put out by keeping the dog. No. They wanted Michael. They fought for Michael. They created a scene. I allege they premeditated and stole him, which the CVAR thread easily shows. And they used co-conspirator, I allege, Adam Karp, the attorney, to do it. There's photos of Michael's dog seemingly in their home, in somebody's home next to a fireplace, all healed and nice. Can't see Michael. Michael can't even visit him. Begs, cries. They're all heartless monsters, all ganging up against one homeless man that happened to be parked by a notorious investigative blogger while living in his vehicle, as so was I. This will be the most transparent case Port Townsend's ever seen, and every aspect in every direction. So if you got a tip, email me, reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com. My long-term goal is to try to get a bill in the Washington state to reinstate the rights of emotional support animals, to reinstate laws for homeless people and their pets, and to try to get some sort of humanity and decency throughout society everywhere I can, to say, why in the world does this dog's teeth, he's underweight, he's sad, he's this, he's that. People care. They take the dog. They take it by force. They don't care if the man's overweight or underweight. They don't care if the people are freezing to death in tents. They don't care if the man needs dental work or could use a meal or some warmth. And they don't care if that man, that homeless person, needs that dog to survive. They don't care if they're suicidal. They don't care about the man's kids. They have no remorse. I allege. Here we go.
Whatever. I don't know who's who and how their relationship works. I know they don't have a contract to work together.
Yes, and he asks over and over, Nat Jacobs, Michael's attorney, what is the relationship with the city of Port Townsend and Center Valley Animal Rescue? If they don't have a contract, why was Michael's property, his dog, his life and death companion, taken to Center Valley Animal Rescue? Why is the city of Port Townsend and Jefferson County both fighting for this dog to stay at Center Valley Animal Rescue? Why is Center Valley Animal Rescue's rights or beliefs or wants or vendetta more important than this man's life? And more importantly here, is there a contract with the city of Port Townsend to take animals or any other kind of evidence in a criminal investigation and lodge it somehow, book it into evidence somehow at CVAR, their property in Quilcene, and they hold that animal hostage as evidence in a criminal trial, and then charge the person in the criminal trial to take care of the animal? He had no say. He had no contract with Center Valley Animal Rescue. He does not owe them that money, in my opinion. He had no contract. His dog was allegedly let off the lead, which I believe. If we could get the body cam from Wendy Davis that day when she picked up the dog, we could know more. I have an email from an eyewitness. Okay, so why did she take the dog and then the city of Port Townsend turned that dog over to a privately owned or whatever you call it with a nonprofit? Why did that dog go there? Michael does not owe Center Valley Animal Rescue anything, in my opinion. He has no contract with them and he had no choice. And here you're seeing he's even asking to get another vet and they won't allow it. What are the laws in this? Okay, if the city of Port Townsend took the dog there to be held for evidence in a criminal case that they were trying, then they owe Center Valley Animal Rescue. And Michael was not guilty. Was he found guilty? Yes. Because they set him up. During the whole trial, there's evidence from all the attorneys and all the witnesses proving, including past newspaper articles from prosecuting attorney Kennedy, that Michael was homeless. He was poor. He qualified for the law to protect him because he couldn't afford to fix the teeth of the dog. They all knew that. They all testified to it. But in the end, the judge ruled that, that Michael's attorney didn't file something to prove that he didn't have any money. So he's guilty. So now there's an appeal and Michael's attorney's like, well, yeah, it's my fault. I didn't file that. So in the appeal, he'll surely win, right? But guess what? We have a few weeks or a few months in between. So now Center Valley Animal Rescue is disposing of the dog, right? That they never should have had in the first place. That the city of Port Townsend put there. And so they got a guilty plea short term. But once this is overturned, and it will be, this is just so bizarre, then there's no criminal restitution. There's no criminal case. They just maliciously prosecuted him, selective prosecution, that's a legal term. And they had no case, and they're going to lose the case, which they knew they'd lose because the year or two prior, the prosecuting attorney was quoted in the paper as saying he's homeless and quoting the law of why they'll lose. So they all did it just maliciously to set him up to get this premeditated lien. And you can see that through the Center Valley Animal Rescue Facebook page where they met Adam Karp, the animal attorney, and they planned this for a couple of years and then they followed through. Okay, so what you, the public, needs to ask here is, does the city of Port Townsend have a contract with Center Valley Animal Rescue or anyone else? Can they pick up your dog and say, you're bad, you did a crime against that dog, so we're going to give it to CVAR, and then charge you for whatever CVAR does and wants, like their dream come true, $25,000 in vet fees over 8 months, or well, it's from November 2020, and they still have it. So, Moses, so they're charging whatever they want. So it's at the unjust enrichment, which is another legal term, and maliciously is with intent, which is another legal term. There's a whole bunch of legal liabilities here, and the mental anguish is outstanding, off the charts, and I can prove that through my own sessions with Michael and with his children over last winter. So this is going to really show you just how far they'll go to protect each other, all their little buddies in the vigilante group. We haven't even got to the woman talking yet, so if this runs out, there'll be a part 2.
Looked into that too, but this is Pierce officer, and there's no way around that. Either they give the dog back to its owner, the property back to its owner.
Give the property back.
He takes care of it, and then they don't have to keep paying for it.
See, because if they'd give the dog back, they wouldn't have had to keep taking care of it. It's like you being kidnapped and taken to a spa and tied to a chair and forced to stay there, and then putting a lien on your house to pay for the spa that they forced you to go to. I allege they kidnapped the dog. They stole this property, and then they're charging this man to take care of it. Not only that, but he has to pay the $25,000. He's got a $25,000 lien settlement he owes, and they still have his dog, of which they're going to auction to the highest bidder. Monsters among us, folks. Monsters among us. Stay tuned to this story and you'll be able to identify them all.
They don't, and they keep paying for it. But they can't have it both ways.
What Mr. Jacob seems to misunderstand or misapprehend is that there are issues potentially of liability. If the state were to affirmatively embrace holding this animal seemingly indefinitely in somebody else's custody, that could be a problem.
If the state held this animal indefinitely in custody, that could be a problem. There's a liability issue. Is this the city of Port Townsend attorney? Is that who she is? And is she admitting that the city of Port Townsend has a liability for this animal, this evidence in a criminal trial brought by the city of Port Townsend? That they have liability if this dog is held indefinitely? Well, guess what? This dog, Moses, Michael's private property and best friend and companion, has been held indefinitely. Premeditated, stolen, I allege, with malice. You'll see it all play out on michaelandmoses.blogspot.com. I'm going to paint it. I just started a new blog, Adam P. Karp, KARP.blogspot.com. I'm going to do a blog for each person involved in this. And the reason I'm doing this is to protect the rights of homeless with dogs and to get homeless seen. People will take the dog while the people that own the dog and love the dog freeze to death in tents, okay? Michael needed this dog for warmth and security, okay? Michael loved this dog. He raised this dog from a puppy. He had puppies with it. Michael lived in a home. He had a family. It was his family's dog, okay? Because he was on hard times and living in a car, they vilified him. They gang-stalked him. They terrorized him. They threatened him. And he almost didn't make it through. The will to live came from being seen accidentally by me, living in a car next to him. Never spoke to him, never met him. I wish for all that see people, all these people that say, oh, the dog looked sad and he looked this and he looked that. I wish they'd notice that the person looks sad. The person looks cold. The person looks hungry. The person might need some clean teeth. No, they take the dog to warmth and shelter and vet care and $25,000 worth of whatever they want to unjustly enrich themselves. The unjust enrichment, that's a legal term, applies for the city, the officers, CVAR, all the attorneys in the prosecuting office, and the attorney, Adam Karp. So, wow, right? She just admitted that the city has liability, in my opinion. You decide for yourself. Here we go.
So I'm not representing CVAR in any way. I'm simply...
She says, I'm not representing CVAR in any way. Sure seems like it to me.
Pointing out the real impact that the request that defense is making has on people. Now...
So the real impact the request has on people. Remember, the request in this video from Nat Jacobs, Michael's attorney, is simply for the owner of the dog, after CVAR having this, holding Moses hostage, and the city of Port Townsend holding this evidence at CVAR for some reason, with or without a contract. After all this time, it's going to put the parties out. If the owner asks for his own vet to go and examine his dog? Really? Wow. Let's continue.
I'd also note that this is noted up as a clarification hearing, so I'm a little bit, I didn't know that all of these issues were going to be raised now, but I do want to address, since it's out there, the issue of the relevance of a veterinary exam on an animal that has now been pretty much fully restored to health.
Okay, so City of Port Townsend's admitting 3/26/21 that Moses has been restored to health. So why is he still at an animal emergency rescue place? Is that where Port Townsend holds all its evidence in a criminal case? Why was this animal rescue allowed to have this dog indefinitely given to them as criminal evidence in a criminal case by the city of Port Townsend and then on to the Jefferson County prosecuting attorney? Things to think about. Here we go.
Health. I don't see how, and I've had a similar case in Superior Court where this issue came up, and the court ultimately agreed then, it's not binding, of course.
No case law, just yammering.
That there's no relevance to an exam,
no relevance
unless
to
the defense can show that there's some sort of legitimate purpose.
So she says the defense should show that there's a legitimate purpose. He owns the dog. They're accusing him of neglecting and abusing the dog. He's got some money from a friend. He wants to hire a vet to take care of his dog, and they're denying him the right to a vet because they're like, our guy's got it, we got it. So he's just supposed to trust them, right? The people that premeditated and stole his dog. I allege from the Facebook Center Valley Animal Rescue thread, they threatened to drag Michael. They threatened to kill him. They threatened to break the law and take his dog. They threatened to take his dog to another county. Adam Carp come in and threatened this law to place a lien. This was almost 2 years almost before they actually did it. And that's why I say they co-conspired, all these people. You decide. It's quite an interesting case, so just make up your own mind.
That something could, knowledge or information could be gained about the animal's condition at the time of its seizure, then examination of the animal now that it's been restored to health really isn't relevant, I would say. So I don't believe that this is a situation of, where the evidence might be lost. There's not.
Okay, so note that she refers to the evidence. So Moses is the evidence. They're saying the evidence isn't going to be lost, so why send a vet? Well, because it's his dog, and he has a right to medical care. They're accusing him of not providing medical care, while they're denying him to provide medical care. He cares about his dog. He wants to love him. He wants to say hello. He wants to have a vet check him. Oh, that's not relevant to this evidence. Okay? Evidence.
If the animal should be adopted.
Okay.
I mean, that's I'm just asking that the court deny the defense.
So the city attorney, I believe that's who this is, has a strong opinion that the animal should be adopted, right? So they all conspired to steal this animal so that it could be adopted, right? This valuable animal that this man bought as a puppy and raised and was his best friend. And the only thing he had left, living in a truck. And the city of Port Townsend took this dog. Okay? Read all parts of this you can. This will give you an incredible picture of how these things happen in any town in America. I don't know about laws of other countries, but I have thousands of blogs and I reported on corruption all over. I was kind of done with it, but I'm very passionate about this because he was living in a car next to me and I was living in a car. So, you're going to learn how the system works and how you can have so many different parts of the authorities and nonprofits and all these people gang up on one man and paint a story that's completely vicious and false. And I believe they all have massive liability, mental anguish, that they've denied him of making money off of Moses, and many other. So, let's listen a little bit more here.
This motion at this time, because for one, there are the lien until that's taken care of, doesn't sort of supersedes all this.
She said the lien supersedes it, folks. Why is there a lien? The city of Port Townsend is the one that took the dog there. Michael has no contract. Stay tuned.